First of all, congratulations on the other night. It was, I think we said, for you, I know England is a lot about making memories. And what do you hope the other night has not only given the country, but given your team now as you look towards another semi-final?
Well, definitely another amazing event, national event, that I think people will talk about for decades to come, because that's what happens with those big nights with England. I think for the team, more belief, more resilience, more players having contributed really important moments, which is brilliant for the spirit of the group. And our general performance was also improved, which was important given the quality of opponent we face now.
What does that night against Switzerland tell you about formation and tell you about key positional changes with Luke Shaw, I know, fit to start?
Well, I think that we got the formation right. It allowed us to get pressure on them, which isn't easy against the back three that have the rotation that they have. But we also enabled ourselves to get control of the game a little bit higher up the pitch. A lot of our possession in the previous couple of matches, we hadn't been able to get through that initial press, and we worked on a few different ways of doing that. And I thought we managed that phase of the game much better.
Bukayo Saka, it's a particularly emotive story for him, the penalty and the way he responded, obviously, from Euro 2020, 3 years ago, to what happened against Switzerland. Just talk us through that and your feelings about that again.
Well, there's no hiding from the fact that all of the penalties had pressure on, but his had more. You can't get away from that fact. So, yeah, the relief probably everybody in the country felt when his went in, I think, and to see that wonderful smile and celebration was huge for all of us. So incredible bravery, and his whole performance was outstanding. He had a really complicated defensive job to do. It was obvious the threat he was posing in the 1-against-1s against his wing back, and the quality of his goal. But the work he did defensively was also fundamental to us winning the game.
Tell us about Harry Kane, because I think his form and fitness are always scrutinised. They're being scrutinised now in terms of just how fit and in form he is for you for this semi-final.
Yeah, I mean, he's lived this world for a long time, and he's already delivered a couple of important goals. His leadership's been hugely important around the camp. I think he's had a couple of difficult matches, difficult opponents. We're playing 3 times, we've played a back 5 with teams who are defending their box with 9. I mean, Switzerland got a huge number of blocks in during the game, so credit to them for the way they defended. So there hasn't been a lot of space for us to exploit, and obviously that's the area that he lives in.
Is he going to be able, though, do you hope, to make those runs, to maybe be on the end of some of those crosses now and those moves that you're making? Some maybe are seeing in Harry maybe not the sharpness they've seen before.
Well, that's the challenge, it's for the whole team now. We step up a level in terms of Switzerland, a very good team with some very good players, but the Dutch probably have even more of those high-level players, high-level experiences, and we've got to bring our best game.
Resilience and individual talent has been a package so far, a key package. Is it enough still, do you think? Are those 2 building blocks sufficient now, even to move forward with?
Well, I think we've shown more than just that. There's a huge togetherness there. In the game the other day, we definitely showed well in our build-up play, and more controlled possession in their half of the pitch. To produce the key moments in the end does become about individuals in these games, and Jude, Harry, Bukayo now have delivered those moments.
I'm going to ask you about Jordan Pickford. Astonishing story. He's been with you every minute of every tournament match. If you had a word to describe the player, what would it be?
he's for us. He's been reliable for us. I think our goalkeeping coach Martin Margetson does a brilliant job with him. They've got a very good relationship. He doesn't accept anything but outstanding on a day-to-day basis from him, and I think he responds to our environment, the pressure, definitely the spotlight in penalty shootouts. He seemed to enjoy the other night. We'd have liked to have enjoyed it a little bit less, a couple of moments, but but you know that is part of delivering those saves in those shootouts. There is something about having that bravado that in those moments can make the difference.
I was going to say, is he goalkeeper and performer?
Well, not in general play. I think in actual fact, in general play the other night, he was very calm in possession, which we were really pleased with. It allowed us to build around quite intense pressure from the opponent. So, no, I would say he's a serious goalkeeper. I think in penalty shootouts you see a different side, and I think that also has allowed us to win 3 out of the 4 shootouts we've been in.
Is one of his great strengths dealing with pressure?
Yes.
Where does that come from?
Well, again, I think in our environment, I can only talk about our environment because I don't work with him day to day with his club, but in our environment, I think he understands what we want. I think he understands what's expected. He knows he's got evidence that he can perform at the level in the biggest matches. We're always challenging for a little bit more, and I think he responds to that really well.
Has he been underrated?
Well, you're talking about a goalkeeper who I think has he gone past Peter Shilton's record now in terms of tournament clean sheets and appearances, and one of the best European records in terms of clean sheets in tournaments. And of course, part of that is a collective, there's no doubt about that, but he's played in some huge matches.
Is he underrated in terms of his level, what he's done?
Well, I don't know how other people rate him, so it's hard for me to say whether he's not underrated by us.
You said in 2018, sometimes it's a good thing to be underestimated about yourself. Maybe it applies to Jordan.
Yeah, as I say, he's been. I think one of the key things with Jordan is he's handled being the England number 1, and I think history would show moments where that hasn't been the case, and it comes with huge responsibility. You know, when you look at a player like Joe Hart, who dealt with that so well for such a long time, Peter Shilton, David Seaman, you know, it comes with enormous pressure, and I think Jordan has handled that as well as anybody in my lifetime.
How does he compare to the goalkeeper in 2018 you first took to the World Cup?
Well, he's just got, I guess, even more belief, more experience, more confidence from those experiences, and a lot of that back for, although we've had changes this time, you know, a lot of that unit, goalkeeper, defence, have been through a lot of big games together. It creates a huge bond. They're prepared to go for each other. They're prepared to put their bodies in the way for each other. And it sounds so simple, but even in the biggest matches, we're seeing such simple goals scored because basics aren't done properly. And you would imagine that in the biggest games, you're going to need something more special than that. But very often it's the failure to block a cross, block a shot, mark properly. So I think as a collective, we work on those basics, and he responds to that well.
And for you and the team, it's a wonderful opportunity now, a third semi-final, and the opportunity to make history. Just sum up that opportunity and what it represents.
Yeah, I think I've felt a shift with the group. You know, I've talked to a lot of psychologists over the years, and one of the things that human beings want to avoid is public embarrassment. And I think we had a little bit of that mindset in the group stage. We weren't free. We were too aware of the noise around us. And I think as we've progressed through and a lot of the barriers have gone, and now there's a change in mindset because it's about what's possible and the challenge that's ahead. So you have a challenge mindset rather than a fear, and it's a big difference. It's quite liberating. So here we are with another chance to make some history, and yeah, we've responded well to those moments in the past.
And a final point, if I may. Do you feel there's a reconnection now to the supporters who matter most, I know, to you? Do you feel that? Because the end scenes at the game against Switzerland suggested that that's what has happened.
That's all I've ever wanted. You know, we play for the country to bring enjoyment and memories to our nation, and yeah, in my view, we should always be in it together all the way through. So what I am mindful of was the last time I probably made an idiot of myself like that was after the semi-final with Denmark, and it all felt very different a few days later. So we need that unity. We need that tremendous support in the stadium for sure, because there's going to be a big Dutch presence on the night. But we as a group are very united, and we do feel that support from people that matter to us.
The best is yet to come.
Well, that's up to us.